Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have a full review of the Xiaomi Smart Band 8. Let's get started. This is one of the most popular accessories in the world of technology, not only within the Xiaomi brand. For many years it has been the best-selling watch or bracelet, and possibly this year will be no exception. It continues to improve little by little, so it looks like a very good alternative for those who want a smart accessory without having to spend so much. The launch price in Mexico is 1,099 pesos. On the screen you see the reference price in dollars. However, many stores have this bracelet at a price of 649 pesos more or less. So you can actually find it at a much lower price than the official launch price. For some reason, these companies lately take this strategy of having a launch price too high and then through promotions lower it in a very aggressive way. What do you think if you join me to know point by point what it can offer us? The design is still very traditional with respect to past generations. We have a capsule format without any kind of button around it. However, in this generation, this case is now metallic, or at least metal with some alloy. Undoubtedly, it gains a very good aesthetic thanks to this design with many reflections. It will be available in two colors, this edition which is in black color, but there is also another edition in purple color. In both cases, it is accompanied by a silicone band according to the color of the bracelet. The clasp is virtually identical to what we have already seen in past generations of this same bracelet. So in this sense, there is nothing unusual or different. However, it also integrates quick release buttons for these bands, so you can change them very easily. And this is one of the points that most promotes the market, is the variety of interchangeable bands. Some with metal, some made of leather and other materials. So it can give you a very interesting touch. And another very curious thing is that you could get to remove both bands. And this little capsule you can also use with a special clip to put it on your tennis shoe and monitor much more specifically your running. Only that accessory is sold separately and has no official distribution in Mexico. And they also sell another accessory that works as a pendant and you can wear it as a necklace. And in the necklace format, it continues to measure your steps, giving a different style to your outfit as well. However, all those accessories to give it a different use other than bracelet are sold separately and have a little widespread distribution. This capsule has a thickness of 10.99 millimeters and a weight of 27 grams. It's really going to feel very comfortable because it's a very light bracelet that doesn't get in the way too much. On the back, as you can see, we have the sensors and a plastic cap plus some charging pins. Finally, this bracelet has 5 ATM water resistance, so you can go swimming without any problems. However, remember that all these products, it is advisable to take them off if you go swimming because the steam generated by the hot water could alter this resistance. The screen is 1.62 inches and really offers very good quality. Its resolution is 192 by 490 pixels, giving a pixel density of 326. For those who don't know, a density above 300 gives us excellent sharpness even in these tiny texts. So, it's really going to be a very sharp display that also gives us intense colors and a completely perfect contrast due to the OLED technology that it has. In fact, somehow the frames go unnoticed, although if we use some other option to illuminate the entire screen, we are going to be able to notice exactly each of its edges. As you can see, at the bottom we still have a considerably wide frame, so I think that in future generations they could be reducing these edges to make even more use of the front. However, I reiterate that it is too good a screen, which also has automatic brightness and its maximum brightness is 600 nits. So, I think under sunlight you're still going to be able to have a good viewing experience. This wristband is also going to have the options to turn on the screen automatically when you raise your arm. You can program this feature to only be on at certain times of the day. You also have the always on display feature so that the screen is always displaying information. And you could also enable a scheduled mode or a smart mode so that this function is automatically activating or deactivating. As you can see, there are indeed covers that have their always on display compatible version, so it doesn't show a generic cover. Later I will show more dials available for this watch, but for now what you should see is that it does maintain this same customization when the screen is on and when the screen is off, unlike other watches that completely change their format between one mode and another. Regarding the sound, there is not much we can mention since it does not have a speaker or microphone, but I can tell you that it has music control via Bluetooth, so you can fast forward or rewind the song that is playing on your cell phone. Likewise, you can pause the content or even modify the playback volume. So it is fine for this type of wireless tasks, but I insist that you cannot store music locally, nor can you connect Bluetooth headphones to the bracelet or something like that. It all depends on the cell phone. If a call comes in, you will only be able to reject it because to answer it you need to go to the cell phone. Again, here we see other areas where the bracelet could still be improved. Let's talk now about all the health monitoring because it has more than 150 sports modes for you to monitor specifically the exercise you are going to do. In this sense, the experience is extremely complete and also has automatic detection for 6 modes, although that detection is turned off by default. So if you want it to automatically detect when you are walking without you having to initiate that measurement, you must go to settings and then auto detect to turn this option on. Obviously this will consume more battery, that's why it is turned off by default. When you start a workout, you will notice that it will use the GPS of your cell phone, so it does not have integrated GPS. It gives you a small countdown before starting, and that's it. Here you can see some of your information such as heart rate and some other things. In this case, I started a workout routine, so it shows here a countdown and the progress of this exercise. Something to note is that in the same training interface you can slide to the right to find the music player, and finally also to the other side you can end the exercise by pressing and holding on that button to prevent it from going off and unintentionally. As you can see, this wristband is able to analyze all your stats such as steps, calories burned and active time, showing you in a small arc also how the progress is going. You can also have a record of all your exercises that you have done, and also in the section called status we can see the training load, so you can analyze if your body is too fatigued because you have pushed it too hard, and you can also see other recovery issues here as well. Also present is the traditional heart rate reader, and as you can see it shows you a little graph here with a little bit more information, so you know if you have burned calories in some exercises and how long it has been. We also have a vitality measurement, so if it detects that you are exercising consistently, it will tell you that you have more vitality. Here it's going to show you more statistics in this category, and we also have the blood oxygen saturation measurement, which is not done automatically but manually, so obviously it will take a little bit longer to do this measurement. I am going to keep quiet so that it is done well. Here it already gave me the result. It took more or less about 20 seconds. However, if you want constant monitoring, you can go to the settings section and activate this permanent monitoring. Although again, it will consume more energy and the monitoring can only be done when you are at rest. If you are walking or in a very active state, it will not be able to give that measurement due to the precision it needs. The bracelet is also capable of analyzing your sleep. As you notice here, it also shows me in a little progress bar how I did, how long I slept, and if I scroll down, we're also going to see more statistics like the percentage of deep sleep, light sleep, and the average heart rate I had during this cycle. We can also activate a more advanced monitoring that will give you the statistics of your REM sleep, but it will also consume a little more energy. You could also ask it to give you a score of how your breathing was while you were sleeping, although I insist that this will consume more energy. However, it is appreciated that all these options are available for very accurate monitoring. It is also able to tell you more or less how your stress is behaving. Again, by default, this option comes manually, so let's wait for the measurement to be done. That's it. In this case, it took a little longer, approximately about 30 seconds, and as you can see, it shows us the result. However, there are not many sensors related to stress, unlike more advanced watches that have electrodes to measure more or less the electrical resistance of your body, and based on those measurements determine how stressed you are. So honestly, I'm not so sure how accurate this stress measurement offered by the wristband can be, and again, in the settings you could enable permanent monitoring in case you wanted to be constantly measuring your stress, but it's going to consume more power. Regarding the battery, this bracelet offers up to 16 days of typical use and up to 6 days with always-on display enabled. The truth is that the battery is a device that allows you to charge every day. If you have this always-on format, practically every week you're going to have to charge it, and if not, for even longer. So there is no complaint here, plus it has a very fast charge. In an hour, nothing more comes to be charged to 100%. And as I had already shown you, is a charge through pins with magnetic absorption. Remember that the bracelet does not include a charging adapter, so you have to connect it to another USB adapter. The interesting thing here is that it even has a battery saving mode that will prolong the use much longer and will continue to count your steps and show you the time. All other functions will be turned off. But in case of an emergency, when you don't have your charger with you and want to keep track of your step count, at least you have these options available. To exit this mode, simply hold down on the screen for a while, and after that you will enter the main interface. And in the optimization section, we are going to be able to have suggestions to make the watch last as long as possible. In this case, it suggests me to disable the always-on display, and after that I already have everything perfectly optimized. Now let's talk about the system that has integrated this bracelet. As you notice, the main cover will be the time, and if we slide from top to bottom, we can access the notifications. These notifications show the icon of the application as well as its name, the sender, and the content of the message. So the truth is that it is very good, although they arrive a little messy. So it may be that the first message you received is the one that is constantly popping up when you receive a new message. But when you enter this notification center, you can finally browse all the notifications you have received. For example, in this case, I received this message again. But that was the message I had received at the beginning, and actually the new message is this one at the top. As you can see, it can also display emojis. But notice how it does not have a very good notification management, as you could receive them repeatedly many times depending on all the messages. Also, it doesn't have any quick reply option, even with predefined messages. So this point still doesn't feel as powerful as some other wristbands. If we slide to either side, we can access quick info widgets like music control and other things. And if we slide to the reverse side, we can access a quick settings control like do not disturb mode, a button to ring our phone when we can't find it, or access the full settings, plus give a quick look at the battery. If we slide from bottom to top, we will access all applications. Although remember that here we do not have an additional store with which we can download and install new applications. So these options are all the ones it comes with, and you cannot install new ones. If you want to change the cover, you can press and hold on this screen, and in this way you will explore new content. In fact, there are covers that you can also configure in this blue button and see how it allows you to customize some things. In this case, it allows us to customize the color that is available, but there are other covers that also let you customize other elements. In this one, again, we can change the color of that watch. Outside of China, this watch will not have the option to do contactless mobile payments, but one thing I like is that even if it is connected to other brand devices, we also have the camera shutter, so we can use this wristband to take the pictures, and it works well. It can even have a timer here, so you can set it that in 3 seconds it takes the picture, and the truth is that the operation is correct. Most other brands reserve this function only when the devices are connected to a cell phone of the same brand, so I really like that Xiaomi does have this shutter compatible with other brands. Finally, the rest of the functions are what one would expect from a watch. We have the weather forecast, a section where we can set different alarms. We can also access our calendar events, breathing exercises, stopwatch, world clock. We can even silence our phone from the bracelet, and we also have timer, flashlight, and a button to block notifications for a certain time and have some time to concentrate. The truth is that it has very good options, so it is probably one of the best bracelets on the market. Finally, through the MyFitness application, we can access all the statistics that this bracelet has monitored, including our sleep, heart rate, and everything that already showed you, but with much more space. In fact, through this application, also women can access this button to show everything and enable the cycle option. Here, you can configure the period length, cycle length, and when was the last date of the period, and even if you want to enable an option to predict the period, so it also helps a lot to keep track of women's health. In the device section, we are going to be able to take a look at the current status of our wristband, and we can also access a cover store. All of them are free, and currently there are more than 200 new covers. This is a section where Xiaomi has made a very big effort because there are even some covers that have a very advanced aesthetic, some that look like small games. So I think that in this sense is the bracelet that has more customization of all. I've tried having an excellent variety of different tastes, as in other bracelets I've seen that some look very similar, but here if you see a very extensive variety of all these covers, and remember that all of them are free. So this is definitely possibly its strongest point. Also, through this application, you can get to configure everything that we already saw directly from the bracelet, but with much more space. Also remember that you can reorder the widgets in case you want one to appear before another, or you could also remove them. Similarly, you can reorder the applications and how they appear on your home screen, and you can even set a lock pin so that no one can access your bracelet. Also remember that this bracelet will receive updates, so it is likely that some functions that you have seen in this video may change. Finally, if you want to use this bracelet connected to an iPhone, the experience will be totally the same as what I already told you, with very few differences. In the notifications, you will notice that Telegram does not have its icon. The same will happen with some other applications that may not be so popular. Also, it won't be able to show emojis, so it only shows a small box. But the way the notifications work is very similar to what I had already shown you. In fact, something that surprised me is that it preserves the camera shutter also when connected to an iPhone. You only have to open the camera on iPhone and then open the application on this bracelet, and that's it. It will work exactly as I had already shown you. The truth is that this surprised me a lot, because usually with iPhone bracelets or watches lose many functions, but this retains virtually everything we had already seen throughout this video. The application on iPhone is completely the same as what we saw on Android, with the only curious difference that although I put the region in Mexico, the application appears in the English language. A small curious fact that I do not know if it happens in other regions as well, but the rest of features is totally the same in both Android and iOS. For the moment, this has been all regarding this video. I hope you liked it. If so, you know you can indicate it, and we'll see you next time.